Shoes that were banned by the NBA. Sneakers are one of the most famous parts of basketball. The sport practically invented the flashy styles of shoe that we're familiar with today, and basketball sneakers have come a long way since the days of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. However, it's a little known fact that the league has some specific rules around these things, and some sneakers have actually ended up banned from play. In this video, we'll have a look at the shoes that were banned by the league. Nike Airship. It's worth debating whether this one belongs on the list or not. There's a popular narrative that this shoe was banned by the league, but the circumstances around this are less than clear. Well, we'll have to take a look back at when Michael Jordan was a newer player in the league to get to the bottom of that. Back in the day, the league still had more specific rules on what was allowed to make up the uniform. The flashy sneakers that we see now weren't a thing yet, and even the red and black version of the Nike Airship that Jordan wore during his rookie season. This one has been confused for the Air Jordan 1, but in fact, it's a different shoe which Nike has yet to release a retro version of. The league didn't exactly ban this shoe outright, but they did ban the red and black colorway because it violated the uniformity of uniform rules at the time. That didn't stop the narrative from rising, however, that the Air Jordan 1 had been banned by the league. It's worth including on this list because of that, but really, it's hard to say whether this one was really banned. Jordan Melo M10. This is another one that wasn't banned entirely, but the league did outlaw one version of it, which forced Jordan Brand to come up with another version. The problem in this case was visibility. The shoe came with a chrome strip on the back of the heel, but this didn't work out in practice as well as it did on paper. The chrome caused visibility problems because of the way it reflected light, and because of that, the league made the decision to ban this one. But Carmelo Anthony didn't have to give up the shoe completely, because Jordan Brand came up with an updated version that replaced the chrome section with a matte one. Sure, the chrome was flashier, but in this case, it was just too flashy for the league. APL Concept 1. A lot of people will say that the shoes don't actually give a competitive advantage and that it's all for marketing, but there's one company out there that would disagree with that claim. APL, more formally called Athletic Propulsion Labs, had their APL Concept 1 shoe banned by the NBA because it supposedly offered a competitive advantage over other designs.
You got the launch and load mechanism right here that makes you jump higher.
The APL Concept 1 shoes have been banned by the NBA for the 2010-2011 season because of the competitive advantage our load and launch technology provides, the company's website boasts. However, the shoe is oddly enough allowed in high school basketball, but as for the NCAA, it doesn't appear anyone has tried testing their luck and wearing it yet. This one might be a case of marketing hype going overboard and backfiring. After all, it doesn't help to be known as the sneaker that gives a competitive advantage if the same advantage leads to getting banned from the NBA. However, it does give the brand a little bit of infamy, so there's at least one benefit from the ban: mismatch Kyrie 4s. Apparently, one of the rules when it comes to shoes in the NBA is that they have to match each other, or at least they have to not be two completely different colors. De'Aaron Fox found that out the hard way when he wore a mismatched pair of Nike Kyrie 4s, with each shoe rocking a different side of the color spectrum. It was an interesting look, but the league must have considered it too confusing and outlandish, as the league said he wasn't allowed to wear them. This one will be a disappointment for anyone that's a fan of bright neon color schemes, but considering the NBA has ruled on colorways before, like we saw with the Nike Airship, it's not surprising that they had a problem with this. Interestingly, De'Aaron Fox also released a different mismatched pair of shoes with Nike, the Air Max 1 Sweeper. It doesn't look like these ones have been banned by the league yet, but it also looks like Fox hasn't actually worn them in a game. Frank Kaminsky's podcast ad. There's a lot of reasons for the NBA to ban a piece of gear, but one that you don't hear very often is for promoting a podcast. That's the reason why the league banned Frank Kaminsky's custom pair of Jordan Melo's M13s. The red and white shoes contain the logo of Barstool Sports, the network that Kaminsky's podcast is published on, and also contain the logo of the podcast themselves. That's the reason why the league banned Frank Kaminsky's custom pair of Jordan Melo M13s. The red and white shoes contain the logo of Barstool Sports, the network that Kaminsky's podcast is published on, and also contained the logo of the podcast themselves. However, that one only lasted one game before the color scheme was banned by the league. Sponsor space is valuable in the league after all, and Kaminsky's podcast didn't exactly pay for the space to advertise in an NBA game. Also, the design was kind of garish looking, although some might disagree. Barstool Sports is pretty popular after all. It's far from the craziest looking shoe on the list, however, considering De'Aaron Fox's mismatched Kyrie 4s and the very different aesthetic of the banned APL Concept 1s. But apparently, if you find yourself in the position of a professional basketball player in the NBA, it's good advice to not try to use your position on the court to advertise your podcast. Or at least wait until after the game and tweet about it instead of putting it on your shoes. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe.